Hi, this is Ken and Michelle Bass.
And you're listening to the Resilient Parenting Podcast.
Hello there once again, getting ready to start off another episode with an introduction that might include a bad joke from you know who.
Wait, I was looking.
You were looking?
I was looking for jokes too, because we can never have enough bad jokes on this podcast.
Yeah.
But it was saying how important humor is with kids. So these are kid jokes, but
Oh, okay.
they sound a lot like the jokes you say.
Oh, dad jokes?
So I'm confused.
Kind of like dad jokes?
They're dad jokes, but they say that kids will enjoy.
Oh,
So these-
immature dad jokes.
Is there a difference?
No, not really.
But I was looking at it and I was like, this is actually could be a way to connect with your kids. So I'm starting to get your reasoning. So go ahead, tell us your jokes.
Oh, I just have one. Just one
Just
dad
one?
joke. Just one dad joke.
Okay.
Okay, the dad joke is, what's the favorite color of a dad who's answering the telephone? What's the favorite color of a dad answering the telephone?
I don't even have a guess.
Yellow. Think about it. Think about your dad. Yellow.
Okay. Oh wait, I got one. I got one.
Okay.
Hold on. What is worse than raining cats and dogs? What is worse than raining cats and dogs?
Stepping in a poodle?
Oh, that was cute. That was funny too.
That's not the answer?
That's not the answer.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Hailing cabs.
Ba-dum-bum. Okay. Yellow.
Yellow, we have a great episode coming up. We're so glad you joined us.
Well, this time we are talking with Gina Judd, the executive director of Friends of the Children, Eastern Idaho. That's a title I'd like explained. I'm sure a lot of people would. Friends of the Children, Eastern Idaho. Explain a little bit about what that's all about.
Well, Friends of the Children is a national organization. We're a mentoring organization, the only professional mentoring organization in Idaho. And we've been around for 30 years nationally. In Idaho, we've been here since 2024, the very, very beginning of 2024. And our work is to identify children who they have great hopes and great dreams and great potential, but they are burdened by barriers they cannot control and they did not choose. And we work with them by pairing them with a professional mentor whose full-time job is to work with them for 4 hours a week, every week, from the time they're enrolled in our program at about kindergarten or pre-K, all the way through high school, 12 plus years, no matter what. These are the kids facing the greatest risks of foster care, instability, family chaos, school expulsion, juvenile justice enrollment, just based on the early challenging experiences that they and their families have gone through. And we provide them with the single most important factor of resilience, which is a long-term, consistent, caring adult to help walk alongside them as they navigate the challenges that every child faces, but they face in a larger degree.
Wow. So this has been around for a while nationally, but only since 2024 in Idaho, and you're the only chapter in Idaho. How did it come about in Eastern Idaho?
So pre-COVID, the national organization was interested in expanding to Idaho, partly because the Silver Family Foundation, who has been a longtime supporter, had some roots in the Sun Valley area, got to know our community as a state and said, we have a lot of kids who really, really need this. They approached the national organization and said, we would like to help launch a chapter in Idaho. The national organization started learning about Idaho, visiting, going around to all the different areas of the state and trying to determine what communities were most interested in having a Friends of the Children chapter and starting it here. And then COVID happened, and so that slowed things down. That's when I heard about them, was the middle of COVID. I was working in children's mental health, part of health and welfare. And at a meeting, one of the child protection workers was doing a master's degree, had been kind of the point person when the national organization reached out to Idaho, and she brought her to speak to us, and I was electrified. My background is in child and family welfare, child and family relationships, and I know that the single most important factor of resilience is that relationship. People can overcome anything if they have someone who will cheer them on, comfort them when they're sad, and help them dream. And that's exactly what a friend does. And so in my long career of trying to help people through therapy, I know that that's one of the most long-term deep changes we can offer. And so I was just electrified by it. And I said, let me help. I would really love to have this come. And after about a year and a half, as they continued to learn and tour, they were fundraising, and they raised a substantial amount of seed funding money from the community and the state as a whole, not the state government, but organizations within the state, and determined that Southeast Idaho would be the best place to start. And then they hired me, which was a surprise to me. That wasn't what I was looking for. And we launched.
Wow. That's amazing. Just, finding something that electrifies you in a good way and then just going for it. So let's see, it's 2026. So what, you've been doing it for a while. What have you noticed since having this program in play?
Well, we are noticing a tremendous amount of growth in the children academically and socially and in their self-regulation. So I can illustrate that with a story. One of the earliest children that we enrolled at the time that this story takes place, which was last December, she'd been experiencing the support of her mentor, Chelsea, for about a year and a half. And we enrolled a new little girl who was just young. We only enrolled the kids. This is a distinction of the program. We only enroll in the window of ages 4 to 6. And then those children have the benefit of all 12 years of that support. And so we enrolled a new little child who was just 4. And the older child who had been in with us for a while was 7. And the little child was in the clubhouse with her mentor, and they were together. Oftentimes the mentors will pair the kids to try and help them with their social emotional needs and development. And the younger child was having a meltdown. She was so upset. And the older child they all come from hard places. And we know that she is sometimes there's a lot of rough speak in her home and not the most compassionate, empathic environment. But the younger child was melting down. The older child verbalized things she'd been learning from her mentor and became a leader in that situation and said to the younger child, "Hey, it's okay." I'll call her Alice. "It's okay, Alice. You're hungry and you're angry, but you are not your feelings. You can handle them and things will get better." And that just gave me chills, because here's a child who's been internalizing these positive messages about herself, about how to manage upsetting feelings, and was then teaching this younger child who hadn't yet had all those experiences. So
Wow.
that's an example of the things that we're seeing change.
While you're working with the children, are there resources for the families themselves too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we hire mentors. Each mentor, we call them friends. That's why it's friends of the children. A friend is a mentor. The friends each have a cohort of 8 youth. And as they're working with the youth, of course, the parents are a critical component in the youth's life. And we really believe that in order for a child to thrive, the family has to thrive. And a family can't thrive unless the community is supporting them and the community is thriving. So while the friends are working with the children, that of course means they're working closely alongside their parents, helping incorporate the parents' hopes and dreams for the child, the parents' definition of what is better. What would better look like for your child in the next month or in the next quarter or in the next year? So we set quarterly goals along with the parents, along with the children. And that's the Friends role, is to really focus on the youth. And they spend 4 hours each week with each youth every week until they turn 18. The program director, her role is to support more concretely the caregivers. They're not always the parents. They're sometimes kin. They're sometimes foster parents. But the program director, as the caregivers share with the friend about their needs, then the friends will tell the program director, hey, caregiver so-and-so just lost their job and they're worried about XYZ. Are there some resources you can connect them to? And so we really work to help connect the caregivers and to help stabilize them in their lives and in their challenges, because we know that ultimately that will help the child the most.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That looks pretty concrete. Go ahead.
oh, I was going to ask you, so how do you connect with these kids, or how do they connect with you? Do you go to them? Do they come to you? Are you referrals, or how does that work?
Well, we work in conjunction to identify the children who might benefit from our program. We use a research validated tool that helps identify children who have had the hardest experiences by the time they're that young. I mean, by the time they're 4, 5, or 6, they've dealt with things that many adults would find very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And so we work with health and welfare, child protective services, we work with school counselors, we work with CASA, we work with Head Start, and sometimes pediatricians, people who have eyes and ears on the ground. And we're looking for the kids who have experienced a high number of ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and also who do not have some of the protective factors, because in the end, the key difference between this mentoring that we do and any other is it's the relationship that changes things. The relationship between the youth and the mentor is deep and long-term, and that is the intervention. And so if a youth has faced really difficult experiences, but they already have a caregiver or a key adult in their life who is advocating for them, who is working with the school district, who is working with the therapist, who is advocating for their needs, seeing and understanding their behavior and helping them, they're not the child that is going to benefit the most from our program. The children who are going to most benefit from our program are the ones who are most likely not having that advocate in the home or in their life. So they're the ones that the teachers go home worried about. They're the ones that the child welfare professionals are aching for, because they see the potential and they know if this child just had some stability, if their family could gain some stability, we could do more, they could thrive. And so those are the ones we're looking for.
So this is a program I haven't heard of before. Like, I haven't heard of this concept. You know, when you first introduced it to me, for a moment I thought of Boys and Girls Club. Or no, not Boys and Girls Club. I was thinking of Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yes.
But you said this is for 4 to 6-year-olds for 12 years. So the friend stays potentially with the child for 12 years through all of those developmental changes. So that is one big difference between Big Brothers, Big Sisters. What else would you say sets you apart from other programs?
Well, I think that there are Big Brothers and Big Sisters who stay long term, and even the Boys and Girls Club, they have their program can go through high school. I think the biggest difference is the focused nature of the relationship, 4 hours a week, every week, and the fact that the mentors are paid. So we take mentoring for this specific population that is plagued with instability and chaos.
Mhm.
That's important. So one of the distinguishing factors is we're really narrow in the clients that we choose, based on those things we've talked about. That's one factor. It's not broad. The other factor is the long-term nature of it. And the third factor that's really powerful is moving the mentorship out of the volunteer realm and into the professional realm. The mentors it's their full-time job, which increases their ability to stay long-term. Volunteering is hard work. It's usually something we fit in around our profession, around our livelihood, around our families. And when those things become demanding, many times volunteers reluctantly have to step back. And that is fine for many people, many children, except not the children we're talking about. It's devastating. They've already had a lot of loss. We don't want them to have more loss. Sometimes almost all of the children are at high risk of having to leave their community, whether that's because of foster care, whether that's because of poverty, whatever. But our mentors go with them. If a child enters the foster care system, the mentor continues working with them in their new placement, as long as it's as local enough, or as long as they can do it virtually. They still get to have those 4 hours with that mentor. So I would say those are the most distinguishing features: the population we serve, the depth to which we serve them, and the fact that the mentors are very, very highly trained professionals. So they're well versed in child development and in trauma and trauma response, and they become an expert in that child's life, and they help the caregivers look at the youth's needs in different ways, and they support the whole family in that sense.
That's wonderful. So you're talking about pay and all of that, which gets me to thinking about funding. So how are you funded?
We are funded primarily through philanthropy. When we started, we were one of only 2 chapters in the nation that had public funds from a school district. American Falls School District was one of our seed funders, and that's why we started our first cohort in American Falls. They're very visionary. They're very powerful in what they're doing there in order to help the families thrive and to help the children thrive. So a small bit of our funding has been public funding. Primarily it's through grants and through donations.
We've been hearing about this organization, the only one in Idaho, in Eastern Idaho. How do we get this to spread across the rest of the state?
That is our dream. That is the greatest question and challenge that we're facing. We have to, we don't push ourselves into communities, first of all. So a community needs to say, hey, Friends of the Children, we'd like you to come here. And they need to be able to say, not only would we like you to come here, we're willing to support you for the long term. Just like we make long-term relationships with the children, our organization needs long-term relationships with funders, corporate and private, in order to be able to keep our promise to the children. Because once we've enrolled a child, we're unlike other nonprofits in that we're not providing a program for a year. We're providing 12 years of a relationship. And so that requires a really a strong commitment, but it brings so much power and joy. And in the long term, there was a study done, it's old now, it was 2011, I believe, of the organizations, the chapters across the nation. And they found that for every dollar that is spent, invested in a child in this program, it saves the community $7 in unspent social costs, because these children 93% of them don't get involved in juvenile justice as they become teenagers, even though about 50% of their parents have struggled with the criminal justice system. And 98% of them choose not to parent until they're out of their teens. So then they're able to provide the means of support for their own children. They grow up, they become producers in the workforce and leaders in their communities, and they're graduating from high school, they're going on to higher ed. They become, like I said, productive. Not that they weren't productive before, but they reach their goals and dreams, and they contribute to the community. And so it saves money. And when we can help communities understand that really by investing, they are building themselves, that's powerful. So that's one way we can maybe help people understand. It's not it sounds like an expensive program, but it really saves millions and millions of dollars over that course of 12 years. $7 for every child spent, or every dollar spent. It adds up to roughly $900,000 per child that is saved.
Wow. So I just want to say shout out to what you're doing and a big shout out to American Falls for having, the just insight and ability to see the importance of investing in our youth. And so I'm thinking of other communities that may be listening right now thinking, I would like something like that. Or maybe they want to support what is already happening in with you. What can they do? Do you have a way for them to be able to donate or to
Yeah,
contact you or what would?
absolutely. Yeah, they can reach me through our website, friendseasternidaho.org. On that website is a donate button, and there's a page that has all the different ways people can donate. But beyond donations, although those are really critical, of course, opening doors for us, helping us, introducing us to leaders, business leaders, civics groups, churches, foundations, community partners, as we their networks, as they introduce us to their networks, and people catch the vision of how this can fundamentally change our whole community, it gets exciting, and people want to find out how they can help. And they can help through donations, of course. They can help through, we do a lot with helping families reach address their basic needs, connecting them to the food banks, connecting them to transportation, connecting them to rental and housing assistance, advocating for them. A lot of the families are living in fear. Like the families we work with in American Falls, some of them are one medical bill or one car repair bill, if they even have the car, away from losing their home. We had one mom reach out to us a couple of months ago, and she said, I just got notice. She's on some public housing assistance. They're having a inspection, and I thought it was a week from now, but now I find out they've moved up. It's in 2 days. I don't have a way to purchase the cleaning supplies I need to be able to get it already. I thought I'd have till my next payday. And so we connected them and helped them with the cleaning supplies she needed, and went over and sat next to her and helped her fold laundry and helped her put it away and helped her meet her needs and talked about her hopes and dreams. And we are able to do that because of the donations that people give us in kind versus, not versus, but in kind and monetary, and the connections they help us make. So we can say, hey, we know where we can help you get that. There's someone over here who wants to help. And it's the community that really makes this difference.
Yeah, somehow I'm getting the feeling that you're incredibly passionate about this.
I don't know where you got that idea.
Is that leaking out? I'm so sorry.
It is. It is.
I got to tell you, I think it's contagious because I'm getting it too.
I'm so glad. It's yeah, I can't contain it. It's so powerful. It's so powerful.
Well, thank you so much for sharing about your program, and we will have all of the information in the show notes. And do you have, just out of curiosity, do you have space openings and all that where currently,
Yeah.
or are you hiring for people who are like, ooh, I want to
Yes.
be a friend? Okay.
Oh, so glad you asked that question. So I mentioned we started in American Falls 2 years ago. We're currently expanding into Fort Hall to serve Northern Pocatello and the members of the Shoshone-Bannock tribes. And we've hired one friend and we're enrolling. So we've got openings for 8 little girls and 8 little boys. And we're looking for a mentor who can work with the little boys. Ideally, that mentor would have connections and understanding of the Shoshone-Bannock ways and cultural interventions, because we think it's really important that the mentors reflect the lived experiences and culture of the youth they serve. But we are avidly, passionately searching for the right mentor to serve those little boys right now. We have one to serve the little girls.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much. And we will have all of that in the show notes. And I hope people will reach out to you. And I have a feeling, Ken, we're going to hear from her again.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll hear about this program showing up in Boise or Meridian or,
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
I would love to help make that happen. Yeah, connect me with anyone who's interested and we'll put our heads together and figure out how. My ultimate
Yes.
dream is that every child in Idaho who needs a friend will have one.
Well, not to sound corny, but I feel like we just made a friend today too.
It's
So,
been a pleasure chatting with you too.
Thank you,
yes.
Ken and Michelle. Thank you so much for what you're doing and for inviting me to share some of my really strong feelings about what our kids need. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by the Idaho Children's Trust Fund.